Alright guys, thanks for joining the channel again. Joe here from Odyssey Off-Road. Wanted to do a walk around and formal introduction of the new machine. I know I had a quick video up a few weeks ago with the unveil of it, but I haven't really done a thorough video on the machine. So I wanted to get out here for a little bit, do a little walk around, give you my initial thoughts of the machine and the first service that I just completed and how easy that was. Wanted to talk to you about that. For anybody who is on the fence about buying one of these machines, the first thing I'll tell you is do not hesitate to buy it. I cannot be happier with this thing. I was debating probably for a good 2 to 3 months on what machine I wanted next. I still have my 4-seater Can-Am Maverick Sport, which I am no plans on getting rid of. And I wanted to get a 2-seater for myself. I initially flirted with the idea of getting the just a 2-seater Maverick Sport like I had the 4-seater, because I was so happy with that one, and maybe get an RC model or an XC model. But then I was like, you know, it's still kind of two of the same machines. Let me get something different, mix it up a little bit. So I had tossed around the idea of a Talon R, or this here, the Kawasaki KRX1000. I had a hesitation about each machine, which kind of is the reason why it took me so long to purchase this machine. I was going back and forth so long. Obviously, each machine has their own issues, and both first-year machines. I kind of wanted to see how it played out and who addressed their issues. And as it turns out, Kawasaki's been on the ball with addressing any issues with their machines. I cannot say the same for the Honda. At this point, there's been a lot of problems with sub-transmissions going out and poorly adjusted shifter cables. I know it's a simple fix, adjusting your shifter cable, so people say, and then they don't have any problems, but there still seems to be a lot of people having sub-transmission issues with those machines and blowing out low gear. The big issue with these machines, as everybody knows who has one or has looked into buying one, you've probably heard, is that the lower control arm and knuckle issue. The original design was very poor. They had a thin knuckle, and then it would basically ride up on top of the lower control arm and then snap at full droop once the suspension compressed. As you can see on this one, it is the new design, so it's much thicker, much beefier. You have a different stop here on the low control arm. They've addressed their issue with a complete redesign mid first year, and that really impressed me with Kawasaki. You know, most manufacturers will put it off and blame it on user error for 2 or 3 years before they address an issue. But mid production on the first year to address the biggest flaw design in the car, I thought that was great. There is an issue people seem to have with the pressure in the gas tank. I got to tell you, I did have that a little bit. It wasn't as bad as some people complain about, but there was a lot of pressure buildup in the fuel tank. So what I did do is do the rollover valve replacement of the vent valve, which goes behind the cover here, behind the seat, and that has fixed the fuel pressure. I haven't taken it on a long drive or not. Some people claim it helps with the inaccurate fuel gauge. I'm gonna save that judgment for, you know, a few hundred miles and see for myself, but I don't really think that's going to be a fix for the fuel gauge. Some people swear it has fixed theirs, some people say it doesn't. It is just the shape of the tank at the end of the day, which is probably why the fuel gauge is so inaccurate on these things. So I don't think that's going to fix it, but if it does, great. We'll certainly report that to you guys and let you know. Other than that, I'll go over quick. There's a couple things I've done to it so far. As you can see, when I first stopped here, I had about 150 miles on the machine now. So not too much. I just want to talk about how the first service went, my initial thoughts on the machine, and a few mods that I did. So I got these mirrors here. Not a fan. They look great and they were cheap. They're billet aluminum. They stay put, but you can't really see too well out of the back. You don't get a good visibility with them. It only cost me 60 bucks on Amazon, so not terrible, but I'll probably at some point trade them out for the seismic mirrors. I also have the Can-Am rear view mirror, not the lighted one. I couldn't see spending $130 on rear view mirror with LED lights in it. So that one there is 69 bucks, I think. I got it for Father's Day from the kids. I'm more than happy with that. And then I did the sport, no, not the sport, but the expensive roof. I forget what they call it, but the one with the sunroof in it. I wanted it in white to match the car, but I couldn't get it in white. It wasn't in stock anywhere at the time I purchased the machine. So I got the black one. It matches the machine well. Obviously the whole machine's black and white, so give you guys a better look at it. Pretty cool in my opinion. I like it. Some people bitch about the sunroof. I mean, guys, it's tinted, you know what I mean? It's not you're not getting sunburned through this thing. So some people like to complain about everything, but I'm happy with it. It's very similar to the roof I had in my old Razor. Had the sunroof in it as well, so I think it's pretty cool. It's some nice style to it, not just a hunk of aluminum sitting up there. So that's pretty much it for mods as of right now. I am planning on getting the Kawasaki half windshield and the tailgate trunk box. You see my beautiful temporary license plate tape job there. Still waiting for Arizona DMV. As slow as they are to send me my official plate, that's still waiting on that. It's only been a month, but that's okay. So on to the service. First service was great. I got to tell you, I've had an X3, I've had a Razor, I have the Can-Am Sport. I've serviced a lot of machines, and this by far was the easiest oil change and transmission and front differential fluid change I've done on any machine, bar none. The Can-Am X3 is an absolute disaster to change the oil in. Anyone who has one will testify to what I'm saying. It's the biggest pain in the ass changing the oil on that thing. This thing was an absolute piece of cake. As everybody knows by now, they got a little sight glass so you can see your oil level. You never have to pull a dipstick. Take a peek, you know you're good. You hit the road, you hit the trail. There's no warming it up, waiting 30 seconds, checking the oil. There's no guesswork. There's no, you just look and go. Oil filter is right there. Doesn't get any easier than that. The only thing is, obviously when you take the oil filter out, what's gonna happen? A little oil is gonna drip out. Not a big deal. Stuff a couple of rags in there. When you take it out, a little oil catches most of it. Once you're all done, I just give the machine a hose off. Good to go. Drain plugs are easy to access. There's big holes for you to access through the factory skid plate for the transmission as well. Super simple. The fill plugs on these things are right here. I literally used a long funnel and just poured it right in. No problems at all. You don't need no fancy gadgets. Very easy to get to. For the transmission fluid as well. And then front diff, same thing. Super simple. I think it took me all of an hour. And I was taking my time to change all three fluids. So there's the fill plug for the front diff. Super easy to get to, right? No big deal at all. I just love the machine. It's been great. I have the suspension, the clicker set at the factory settings, which I think is 12 in the front and like I don't know, 6 in the rear from full soft. And I haven't bottomed this machine out once. I actually, just to test it out, put the clickers on all 4 shocks to full soft, and I was bombing it pretty hard through the desert here, hitting some big G outs, and I still couldn't bottom it out. So it's been a great machine. It rides amazing. Had the wife out with me one night just on a cruise after dinner, and she couldn't believe the ride quality difference between this and the Maverick Sport 4-seater we have. And that actually rides, you know, really well, that machine. But this is just another level. Obviously a long travel machine. The Can-Am Maverick Sport is not that, so you have limitations there. But yeah, if anybody who don't know, this is 18.1 inches of suspension travel up front, 21.5 in the rear, I think it is. So I mean, it's right up there with all the top machines. Doesn't have the power of a turbo machine. No, it doesn't. But I could ride with any turbo machine on the trail, and I guarantee you, you're not losing me. So you can only use so much power on the trails. If we're in the dunes, obviously different story, but I go to the dunes maybe twice a year. In this machine, I'll throw a set of System 3 paddles on it, and I'll be good to go. No worries at all. I mean, I took the 4-seater Maverick to the dunes. If that thing can dune, this thing will have no problem. So power-wise, not an issue for me. From dead stop, it doesn't have that instant grab on the clutch. I would say the first 5 miles an hour maybe, and then the power just grabs. It's almost like a slight delay, which, unless you're drag racing, that's not the way you ride on a normal basis. So if you're just buying one of these things to take it to the drag strip, this isn't the machine for you anyway. You'd be buying a turbo car. So no complaints about the power whatsoever. Handling is phenomenal, and with the way it handles, you find yourself going at an excessive speed through the trails because it's riding so smoothly. Before you look down and you're doing 45, 50, and you don't even realize it. So the machine's great. Only 150 miles on it, so I can't really comment on reliability just yet, but I have full confidence that the machine will be great. If it's not, you'll be the first to know. I'm not going to hold no punches if something's wrong. I'm not going to hide it on you and make this thing out to be the best machine in the world. I will certainly point it out, and the same goes true for the Can-Am I have. Knock on wood, that machine's been great too. Coming up on 1,800 miles on that one, so once I get to 2,000, I'll be doing a 2,000 mile review on that machine. I like the fact that the interior on this machine versus the Talon, that was another deciding factor for me. The passenger seat adjusts. On the Talon, for some reason, Honda decided the passenger doesn't need an adjustable seat. I don't know why. So the passenger seat doesn't adjust on that. And I take my kids out sometimes, especially my 4-year-old. He's little. He needs to be scooched up so he can reach the bar. So I could just slide this thing up, pull the bar out for him. He has no problem hanging on. For some reason, the Honda, I don't know why they did that, but you can't adjust the passenger seat. What is weird is no park. It's just got a parking brake lever, which is fine. Put it neutral and pull it up. You don't yank the hell out of it. Just pull it up slow, nice. You don't want to stretch the cable. Some people like to yank the hell out of it. You don't need to do that. Just pull it up till it's tight and it's good. Those of you who aren't familiar with these machines, they do have a low power button. I haven't used it yet. I tried it once. To me, it was extremely low power. My Can-Am has a low power, or they call it eco button. That seems to work way better, in my opinion. It just kind of kills the bounciness of the throttle for when you're rock crawling. This thing really kills the power to like 50-something%, I think. I don't know why you'd ever need that. I haven't found a use for it yet. But I only have 150 miles on it, obviously. Two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive lock. When you put it in four-wheel drive or four-wheel drive lock, you can do it on the fly on this machine. You do not need to come to a stop, where Can-Am you have to come to a stop to put it in four-wheel drive. And also four-wheel drive lock, I believe, on the XC models, you need to come to a stop as well. You're not on this on the fly. Once everything lines up, it'll engage on its own. And you'll know that by an indicator on the dash. All right, it'll light up when its four-wheel drive is engaged. Even though you have it on, the light changes on the knob. If it doesn't show it on the dash, it's not engaged. So have tested that. Put it in four-wheel drive lock. Roll forward 4 or 5 feet, and you'll see it engage. Same thing with the locker. When the locker is on in this thing, it's not like some vehicles with the locker on, where you can't turn and the steering's really tight. The power steering on this machine is phenomenal. Super easy. Some people I know that, I've seen online complain that it's too much, where it makes it too easy and there's not enough feedback at high speeds. I tend to like it. I mean, you could turn this thing with your pinky, the steering wheel. The power steering is great on this machine. I love it. So that's my thoughts. Super excited about the machine right now. I love it. Nothing bad to say about it right now at all. Like I said, 156 miles, whatever it is on it. We'll keep you posted. If things go south, I'll let you know. I don't anticipate that happening. It seems to be a very well-built machine. It's pretty stout. As all the write-ups on it say, it is true. You can't beat the metal here instead of plastic. You've all seen it by now on YouTube. It's all over Facebook pages. People getting mauled with branches going through the floor of their Can-Am or their Razor. You don't have that issue here. Oh, that reminds me, one other thing I wanted to mention. Everybody complains about the weight of this machine. Oh, it's so heavy. It's 1,900 pounds, blah, blah, blah. Well, I got news for you. You got metal skid plates to protect you in the cab. You got 31-inch carnivores with bead locks, factory. The suspension components on this thing are far beefier than stock components on all the other machines out there. When you start adding all beefier components and bigger wheels, 15-inch wheels like this has, with bigger tires and bead locks, metal skid plates, and you start adding that to your 1,600-pound Razor, guess what? You're going to be weighing the same thing. Up front, this machine has that stuff on there already. So at the end of the day, you're going to end up weighing in the same when you add all that stuff on your Can-Am and your Polaris. So to me, that's not even an issue. I don't know why people like to bring that up. Out of the box, it's heavy, but who keeps their machine stock? Nobody I know. So, you know, start adding all that stuff to your other machines, you're going to be just as heavy. So that's my take on it, guys. I love it. Great machine. No complaints. Yeah, so we'll keep you posted. Hit that like, share, and subscribe buttons. Please subscribe to the channel. If you like what you see, plenty more content coming on this machine and the Can-Am 4-seater. We got some mods coming for this one, and probably a few more mods for the Can-Am as well. I'm going to do a review. I've been asked a few times on that Can-Am coming up about the Bandit UTV springs. I'm going to do a review on that since I've had them on there for a while and give you my take on that. But yeah, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If there's anything you want to see, any other content, any questions about this machine, the Maverick, let me know. I'll be more than happy to shoot a video on it. All right, guys, ride safe, take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in.